then yeah, it's no jokes, boy, it's up. In the end zone, that's a TD, we finessing job. Filling up the stat sheets and they knowing that's.
I'm sitting here with Mitch Third, a serial entrepreneur and influencer based on the Gold Coast. At age 25, Mitch has founded 3RDPHIX, a fitness bottle brand, 3RDPHIX Collection, a men and women's clothing label, and is the co-owner of Villa Tami, which is a villa based in Bali. Mitch has also amassed over 28,000 followers on his personal Instagram. He's built a HQ for his businesses here on the Gold Coast and has become a motivator for those looking to create businesses and build a better lifestyle for themselves. Mitch, welcome to the show.
Great rap, mate. Love that. Great
Good
start.
intro, hey?
Yeah.
And from that intro, you have accomplished a lot. Can you take me back to what you were doing before this and how you kind of got into e-commerce?
So firstly, born and raised here on the Gold Coast. Absolutely love the lifestyle here. Probably will never leave.
Yep.
I was raised by two amazing parents, instilled great values, morals, respect into me. So grateful for how they did raise me.
Yep.
In terms of education, went to TSS. In Southport, was very lucky, got a scholarship there, rugby scholarship.
Wow.
And in high school, even years after high school, that was my dream, was to become a professional rugby player.
Right.
And then I suppose how I got into 3RDPHIX and into the e-com sort of brand was, I remember in rugby, I was playing semi-professional rugby and I got asked to train for a professional rugby team, and I actually said no to go traveling.
Really?
Yeah, I said no to go traveling with my girlfriend today. So we went on a trip to America, and then we went to a trip to Bali. And how I sort of fell in love with 3RDPHIX was, I remember like vividly, like a clear picture of over in Bali. We were off the coast of Bali on I think it was Nusa Penida or something, an island there, and there was this beach probably like 50 meters long, and it was just filled with rubbish and filled with plastic rubbish. And when I looked into it, it was just so many single-use plastic bottles. And
wow.
I remember on that trip, I ended up like researching and like looking up, and I was just so unaware and so uneducated with the plastic pollution and everything that plastic's doing to our environment and the planet. So I wanted to create a reusable bottle that would prevent people from buying single-use plastic bottles.
Yep.
And during that time, obviously playing rugby, you go to the gym, you have your protein shakes. I was so sick of having smelly protein shakes because protein gets stuck in the corners. So I wanted to create a bottle that would prevent people from buying single-use plastic bottles and prevent the protein from being stuck in the corners. And
wow.
I suppose that's sort of my short story on how I fell in love with the environment and how I came up with my product that is the fitness bottle today.
Which is this?
Yep.
This is the bottle.
This is her.
Yeah.
Obviously the unique, or the thing that stands out is the round bottom.
Yep.
It's super easy to clean, prevents protein from being stuck in the corners. And
we know the pain of that.
Yeah, so that's how I got started, man.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So out of the two e-commerce businesses and brands that you own, so it is 3RDPHIX, which is the fitness bottle, 3RDPHIX Collection, which is the apparel. 3RDPHIX, the bottle brand, came first. And it's interesting that there's two elements to that business. You've got the e-commerce side and you've also got the wholesale side as well, right? Which is the bigger side for the business?
So now it's 110% the online sales.
Wow.
And I put most of my time and energy into that. But when I first started back in, when was it, 2018, so 18 and 19, it was just a side hustle because the dream was still to become a rugby player. So it was, you weren't earning that much as a semi-professional rugby player. So I needed something, you know, a little side hustle. And that's what it was. It was a side hustle. So for me, in terms of wholesale or online sale, it was more wholesale because it was easier just to message gyms, message stores, just to say, hey, can you wholesale my product? And it was just as easy as a yes or no.
Was that through existing contacts as well, or was it just pure cold outreach?
Just pure cold outreach, just emailing them, DMing them, showing them photos of the bottle. So yeah, in 18, 19, it was more wholesale because the convenience, like of just messaging gyms and stores. It was either yes or no, compared to, you know, the effort goes into like running an Instagram, a Facebook, customer service, marketing. There's so much like energy that goes into that. So when I first started, it was more wholesale. And then as the brand started to grow, started taking photos with my girlfriend when we went on holidays, the online started to just take over. And then last year when COVID happened, I suppose, wholesale was non-existent just because gyms and stores were closed. So my online sales went through the roof, and that's where more of my time and energy goes, is more into online sales. Yeah,
and you prefer that now as opposed to, because business to business, B2B, is more so dealing with direct people, whereas B2C, business to consumer, is more kind of fast-paced transactions.
Yeah, exactly. Look, I don't mind. I wouldn't prefer either one. It's just the way I feel the world is going. So like even with the online stuff, if people want to wholesale my bottle, most of the time they're coming to me now because I'm sort of like a known sort of business. Before it was like, hey guys, can you please wholesale my bottle? It's most of the time they're coming to me. And then because I have wholesaled in the past, I can now use that as leverage if I do want to get into big gyms or big stores.
Yeah, that's awesome. We have a lot of brands that obviously run their own e-commerce stores, and they purely started on that and they didn't venture into the wholesale side. But then some of them now kind of look at it like, well, maybe getting into like stockists might be a really good route. Would that be something that you would advise, or would you be on the side of just focusing all your energy purely online?
No, I think there's definitely brands that just moving volume is it's easier and it is more effective. When it comes to that sort of thing, you have to have like either a social proof or maybe like a connection with the brand. So for me, social proof, having reviews on your product page, having a Trustpilot on your website, things like that, so that instead of the gym, so I come back to like gyms and stores because that's obviously my thing. So they don't want to take this leap of faith because there's no social proof. But if they can see reviews, if they can see, you know, the Trustpilot reviews, they feel confident in regards to being a stockist. And then outreaching to gyms and things like that. Don't just have a template and copy and paste. Go out of your way, scroll down their Instagram feed, see what they've been doing. Your first sentence or two, you need to connect, you need to like show them that you care about them, or you know what I mean? So I'd have that template, but the first sentence or two, go out of your way to see if they've had a brand new opening, or I don't know, something that means something to them, and you say that to them, and then you get that sort of connection.
That goes with everything. That like not even with like trying to get stockers, like even with reaching out to I have a question around reaching out to influencers, but like even reaching out to people that have a particular type of audience and you're trying to get them to promote your product, you have to kind of hit the right points there with those guys, right?
For sure, otherwise it just looks so spammy. If you're just copy and pasting the same sort of template, half the time, like you have to have some sort of connection or feel like, make them feel like that you care about their business, or that you're watching their journey, or you know, some sort of interest before trying to ask them to be a stockist. Yeah,
well that's a good segue then into, I guess, one of the questions that I had, which is, obviously you come from the experience of knowing what it's like to be an influencer, right? You have probably brands reach out to you at times where they kind of try to get you to promote their product. What do you think some of the mistakes brands make when they try to take that approach of reaching out to influencers to get them to promote their products?
I suppose first, you have to look at your own brand, right? You have to know your niche and what your brand stands for. So I remember back in the early days when I started 3RDPHIX, I was just giving out bottles to, you know, I was just giving bottles out to, you know, hot chicks in bikinis or big buff dudes just because I had a following. But now it has to be so much more specific. You need to realize your own niche, what your brand stands for. And then I really enjoy, I like choosing influencers who talk on their story, who are relatable, who are on a sort of journey. They're the people that end up selling the most amount of products or service or whatever. So in terms of advice to people out there, it's understanding your own business first. You need to understand your niche and what influencers will work best for you.
Yeah.
And then when finding influencers, it's people who are engaging with their audience. There's such a big difference between a girl who's got heaps of followers, but she's got like 0 to none stories, none talking.
No engagement.
There's no engagement whatsoever with her fan base. So find the influencers who are right for your brand, and it'll go a long way.
Yeah, and it's also funny because we got breakfast before this. We were kind of talking a little bit about it's important to find the influencers that match with your brand, but also it's also to find what kind of platforms they're on too, because it's different to what, you know, an individual influencer might be posting on their stories and what kind of message it might hold if they were posting on the likes of maybe, you know, TikTok or maybe YouTube or all these other platforms. Does that come into play in your mind now as well?
Yeah, definitely. So for us now, we send out briefs.
Right.
A brief is something where you have a scheduled date for the influencer, give them enough time to post, you give them the exact time and date to post and what to post. So with these influencers, they're on a lot of platforms, but they have to mix up their like creativity, they have to mix up their content. So some girls are dancing on TikTok and then they get to Instagram and they're being more relatable or things like that. So when you're sending out your briefs, you have to be very specific, otherwise the content that they're creating for you might not be as beneficial as what you think.
Yeah, that's facts. Yeah, and we definitely know firsthand the pain points that some of these brands have to deal with. I guess it's if you focus on your internal, what you can control, and you minimize or mitigate the ability for them to get it wrong, then it'll be fine.
And at the same time, give them enough space for them to be themselves. You don't want to be like, hey guys, this is exactly how I want you to say it. How you have to give them some space for them to move, but just give them a bit of guidance, maybe even in the caption, how maybe like, oh, it's such a unique bottle or just something like that. It's just something for them to have a guideline off, and then usually they're the creators, they can get creative.
Yeah, that's what you're paying them for.
Yep.
Love it. Now, one of the things that I personally gain from following you and your personal Instagram is your mindfulness and your meditation stories. And I'm super excited to get into this topic. And I understand that this is a massive part of your morning routine. Could you run me through how mindfulness training and meditation has played a big role in your day-to-day productivity?
Massive, bro. Like, I can't say enough how much it's impacted my life. So it all started first when I talk about all these things, it's like, why are you doing it? When I come on these podcasts and things like this, I'm always trying to tell people, why are you doing it? So for me, my morning routine, everything that I do in it comes back to my why, comes back to my business, come back to being the best version of myself. So my morning routine is, I wake up with the sunrise, so if that's in summer, it's around 4:35. Now it's about 6 o'clock. Wake up with the sunrise, I go for a walk, so that's kind of my cardio, just moving my body. And then I go and do some sort of cold exposure, so whether that's a swim in the beach, swim in the pool, or a cold shower. So during summer, I do a cold shower. And where I got that from was Wim Hof. He's this guru, you have to look him up. He's honestly amazing.
He's a wild character.
Yeah, he is. I love it. I love his energy, everything like that. But he preaches this breath work and cold exposure and the benefits it has to it. Like, I won't get into it, but there's just so many benefits. And the sort of battle that you go through with cold exposure. So for example, this morning, it was 6 degrees, went in my pool, put on a 10-minute timer. The battle against your mind and the time, if you can beat it and get to that 10 minutes, the feeling you get after it is amazing. And also the benefits of the cold, good for your immune system, wakes you up, you feel amazing. It's such a great way to start your day. So I do some sort of cold exposure, and then I get into my breath work. That's straight after you get out of the pool. Obviously get dry, put some clothes on, and then do my breath work. You can find the breath work on YouTube, just put up Wim Hof. It's 10 minutes out of your day. It's absolutely amazing. And
Yeah.
and once you've done the breath work, it puts you just like in this Zen sort of state, like a real calming state. And so I lead that into my meditation. So whether that's 10 minutes of just stillness or some sort of guided sort of meditation. If there's one thing I can tell someone to do today is to meditate. It's 10 minutes out of your day. It's such an amazing tool to just get clarity, ground yourself. It's just a really good tool to have. So I get into meditation. Once I've done meditating, I write down 3 things I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
This is another thing, and it's such a great thing in terms of like perspective, whether you're killing it in life or you're not doing so well. If you're grateful for the things you have in life, it's honestly, for me anyway, it's the key to happiness. If you're grateful for, I'm so grateful to be sitting on this couch, we're having this interview, you're happy, like you can't not be in a great sort of like mind frame. So I write down 3 things I'm grateful for, and I try to be very specific with it. So it's not just, my family, my life, my health. It's this morning, like, I'll just say yesterday I had a good day of sales, yesterday's sales, beautiful sunrise. Just trying to be more specific in terms of what's going on in your life. Otherwise, if you just say the same sort of stuff or things that aren't relevant to you, it's not as impactful. So that's a really big thing for me. 3 things you're grateful for. It's a great thing in terms of perspective and
I feel like
happiness for sure.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of that stuff, even, and the reason why I'm so interested in you and the way you do this, like your whole kind of morning routine, is because I don't do it, and a lot of the time, even through my life, like a lot of the I guess just stressful stuff that you encounter as a business owner, it can overcloud your mindset and you only focus on it, and then it doesn't give me the ability to focus on so many positive things that are happening throughout the day.
Yeah, so it helps me so much with productivity, clarity. It just puts me in such good stead to start my day. And don't get me wrong, this shit didn't start, like, I just didn't have the perfect morning routine. And like, even saying the perfect morning routine, that's just my experience. This may not be perfect for everyone else, right? So I encourage people to start by waking up early, start by meditating, start by doing some sort of going to the gym. You can really play around with it. Like when I first started, I'd wake up and meditate, and halfway through meditation I was falling asleep. So I would go for a swim, that would wake me up, or I'd move my body, so it'd wake me up, and then I would do meditation, and then I was doing this and that. So you'd have to trial and error your morning routine. It just doesn't happen overnight. So if I can encourage the audience today, it's just one thing at a time. And,
one thing at a time.
Yeah, and it's for you, like the first 10 minutes of the morning, like that morning stillness when I go for a walk, it's such a beautiful time, and it's literally for yourself. Like I'm doing it for me, I'm not doing it for everyone else. I am I am putting it on my Instagram, that's to help others. I love seeing people going, you've changed my life, or this is so inspirational, everything like that. But I'm doing this for me, and it honestly has made such a world of a difference in terms of business, lifestyle, relationship. It's amazing.
Is that what the goal was initially, or did you just, because you just seemed like you kind of fell into your routine, and then you just started, like, I guess naturally as you do, promoting on your Instagram, and then you got this amazing feedback. It's now become a real pillar of your brand. It
definitely is. So I started in COVID. It was, I have a mate who runs a mental healthness brand. So that's how I got into meditation. I had a few other people who did meditating, so I was like, I'll just give it a try. Had an amazing experience. It was actually a meditation on gratitude, and so doing meditation led me to writing down 3 things I'm grateful for. The gratitude stuff ended up leading me into Wim Hof. Like it all just sort of like helped it. So it doesn't happen overnight, but it's also beneficial, and honestly just give, if it's one of these things to try, it's meditation. That's to start your morning. It's 10 minutes of your own time. It's for yourself. Just do 10 minutes a day, and it'll make a world of a difference.
You read a lot of books too. One of my flaws, again, as well as not meditating and things like that is I don't read a lot. And I've started to value now getting that external outside education from others that have been around for decades in the stuff that we've kind of only just gotten into in the last, I would say, maybe 5 to 10 years. How has reading and getting into books helped you as well?
So I struggled at the start because I did go to uni. I tried to stay away from books. But a few people that were sort of inspirational to me were saying how important like knowledge is. And it is, man, like knowledge is, it can take you such a long way, and it's a lot better when you have conversations with people who have so much knowledge. Like you don't want to be the smartest person in the room. You want to be mid to low and learning off people. So if you can sort of be that person who has all this knowledge, and that's what reading gives you. It gives you knowledge. There's so many benefits to reading, whether it's vocab or knowledge or whatever it is. That's what I've found. There's things in these books that have helped me with habits, that have helped me with my morning routine, that have helped me with speaking, how to talk to people. And that all comes back to work as well. How I'm talking to these influencers, how I'm interacting with people, how people work. Exactly. So I put reading into my night routine. So I've got a morning routine, a night routine. My night routine's a bit more chilled. I just have this brand Life Cycle. It's this mushroom stuff. Helps me to sleep. Do about 30 minutes of reading and then fall asleep, and I find that really beneficial. Yeah,
unreal. A few weeks ago, I was watching some of your stories, and it was interesting because out of everything that I was used to seeing on your Instagram, you were in this slump. You were in like this, it was like a week, and you were just like, I'm not feeling like myself. I'm in the wrong headspace. How did you get out of that from someone that's naturally just so positive?
Yeah, so like it's pretty hard, man, to always be like this inspirational guy that I'm trying to be, right? Like I've started posting pretty much daily of happiness and morning routine and motivation and everything. It's pretty hard to be, you know, this guy 24/7. So when I had this slump, I wanted to show people that it's not 100%
sunshine
24/7 good, you know what I mean? So I wanted to be raw, wanted to be honest. I got great feedback from it. Apparently there's some weird lunar eclipse that was going on that was affecting me.
Oh really? Yeah, all right.
I don't know how much truth is in that. But yeah, I just wanted to show some rawness and that it isn't all sunshine and rainbows. But another thing is, people now think that I'm 24/7 motivated when in fact I just love what I do. So
right.
Yeah, so it's a thing where people are going, oh, he must be so motivated, but it's just, I love going to work, I love waking up early, I love doing these things, so it looks like I'm motivated. Don't get me wrong, I am motivated, I'm a bit more motivated than most people, but because I love what I do, it looks like motivation, it looks like I just want to grind and everything like that, but I'm just like falling in love with growing and the work that I'm doing. Yeah,
that's really cool. And it's an interesting point because everyone thinks that they might look at yourself and they'd be like, wow, he's just so fired up always. And then it kind of does fall into that whole point of, well, I am passionate about what I do. And then sometimes, like even in my experience, I get asked a lot, like, how do I take my first steps into starting a business? What do I look for when I start a business? And you probably would get the same. And naturally, like the typical response would be, do something you're passionate about. But that is so, like, I guess vague and ambiguous because it has to be a little bit more practical than that. And what you've done with, I guess, 3RDPHIX bottles is you're obviously passionate about fitness from your footy background, but you tied it in with e-commerce. You know, you had that passionate side and then the business aspect to actually make it a functioning business. What advice would you give that's going beyond that step of just do what you're passionate about?
It is such a broad statement. Do something you're passionate about. So for instance, I'm passionate about fitness, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to be a good PT. So for me, it's self-awareness, knowing what your strengths are, and then putting your passion into it. So it's a tough question because I can just say, be passionate about it, but be self-aware and know your strengths. But when people ask me, I feel like there's two avenues that you can go down. So you can either create a solution product or a
Right.
solution service.
Right.
So it's about solving something. So for example, my bottle is a solution product. It prevents people from buying single-use plastic bottles. It prevents protein from being stuck in the corners. So that's a solution product.
Yep.
If you have heaps of value or knowledge, you can sell that as a service. So
Right.
that's like a solution-based product or service. That's avenue one.
Right.
Avenue two, which I feel like a few people are doing these days, is start your own brand first, and then off the back of that, sell merch or sell a brand. So another example, I suppose, is my clothes. Third Fix collection. Talia and I have built this brand where I would probably say 70 to 80% of people aren't buying it because of the clothes. They're buying it because like we've designed it kind of. It's ours.
Yeah.
So it goes hand in hand. You have to have the best sort of quality and cool, stylish, or just say, for example, you want to do clothes. You have to have the best quality. You have to have the best like style, because otherwise it'll detriment the hard work that you've done building your brand.
Yeah.
So people can see through people. If you start that brand and then all of a sudden you want to make a quick buck, it's like selling watches or something, but I've got no passion in watches.
Yeah.
So they're the two avenues. I suppose passion can definitely go over these two avenues. It's avenue one is create a solution product or service, or avenue two is create your own brand first, and then off the back of that, start a business. I suppose that's my advice.
That's awesome. And it's interesting as well with the second avenue you're talking about, which is building your own personal brand, and then off that platform, slingshotting a product or a service or whatever it might be. What has to come with that personal brand first, though, is the ability for others to identify first with your personal brands. And then when you launch a product, let's say, that product is in line with your personal brand.
It has to be a reflection of who you are. Like,
Yeah.
I just didn't make these clothes and put a logo on it. Like, everyone knows that I like baggy stuff. On the back of this tee, there's 3 little slogans on how I write goals.
Yeah.
Like, just little
Which is
things like
awesome.
it's a reflection of me. Like, I like the color brown, black. It's like, it's not just something I put my logo in. It's a reflection of me and Talia. You look at the clothes Talia has designed.
Yeah.
They're all, it's a reflection of her. So, and people can see that. People can see when people are just trying to make a quick buck.
Yeah.
Like, if they thought that we're just selling clothes to make money, most people probably wouldn't jump on the bandwagon, or they would talk down on our personal brand saying, oh, they're only just trying to make a buck. So it really does go hand in hand. But yeah, over those two avenues is passion. Like, you have to be passionate about the product that you've designed. You have to be passionate about the content that you're creating or the brand that you're trying to create. So yeah, you have to be passionate about it for sure. But I think they're the two avenues. If you're wanting to start a successful online business, is going down that route.
That's awesome advice. I love that. I want to kind of talk about, because I think it's a super interesting topic in regards to influencers, and a lot of influencers now jumping onto the scene. We're seeing like platforms like TikTok giving individuals insane exposure, blowing up their socials, and then they try to jump into different avenues to try, like, I guess, monetize what they're doing.
Yeah.
What would you say some of the mistakes you're seeing these new coming influencers make when they try to venture into e-commerce?
I don't know, it's very tough. Like, for example, me and my girlfriend Tals tried to jump on the TikTok bandwagon, but it just wasn't for us. Like, we were trying to do these dances and trying to be funny and all this stuff, and we were like, what the hell is going on? Just because it was a bandwagon, everyone was trying to get on it. So, I don't know, be true to yourself. Like, I know that dancing and all that corny stuff isn't for me, so I stopped it. I tunneled in on Instagram. So, I don't know, but you see some people, they go on all the platforms and absolutely kill it. But for beginners, I don't know, just stay true to yourself, and the content that you're creating will come natural. So don't try and force anything. Don't try and be someone who you're not, because it'll definitely show.
100%. And when they create that platform for themselves, you see a lot of them kind of go, either they want to get paid for posting, they want to kind of create their own product. What do you think is, and what would you advise on for somebody that, like, tomorrow if I had 50,000 followers on Instagram and I didn't have a business or I didn't have really anything, would you kind of advise them to go the whole route of trying to be that influencer to get paid for posting, or is it just falling into whatever they might be interested in?
Yeah, I think it's falling into whatever you're interested in. So
Yeah.
like, you look at yourself, the things that you're creating, like your content, is all like valuable knowledge about social media, about like I gained so much value from your content. Like recently there was an upsell app, downloaded it.
Yeah.
We were talking about it before. There was heaps of content that I gained from you guys, like the iOS update. I hadn't done some of the steps that you guys are told. So
Yeah.
I don't really have an answer for that question. It is a tough one.
It just comes down to the individual, doesn't it?
It definitely does, and it's coming down to staying true to yourself. So I think with what you're doing is really good. You're giving the content for free, and I think you'll reap the rewards in terms of following and money in the long run for sure. But like even like there's a few micro influencers I'll come across. And instead of saying, yeah, I love your bottle, I'd love to take it on, it'd help me with content, it's a great prop. They go, I charge money, all that sort of stuff. So I suppose it's trying to find a balance between charging and I honestly don't really have an answer for it, to be honest.
Nah, that's awesome. One thing that you did just touch on then was value-based content.
Yep.
That gets overlooked heavily. People fall into this trap of like just day-to-day stuff. I'm just going to post, consistency is key.
Yep.
But even in my perspective, what we do here at Top Tier, it's quality over quantity. Does that kind of fall into, I guess, with the businesses that you run, are you taking that same approach?
Yes and no. So for me, if you have a good product or a good service, I feel like the sort of product will do, like, what's the word? It'll speak for itself.
Yep.
It'll speak for itself. So
Definitely.
for me, I'm trying to pump out as much content as I can. So whether it's one post that goes viral or the more I can get my product out, I'm actually worrying less about what it actually looks like, or getting professional sort of photography and just getting the content out there. So for me, I feel like content is king.
100%.
It definitely varies, like for yourself, like quality over quantity for sure. Like you don't want to be giving out advice that you guys aren't using just because you haven't posted today. Or something like that.
Huge.
So for you, definitely quality over quantity. But for me, it's a water bottle. They know what they're getting. So just pump out the content. And
social proofing through consistent content as well. It's a big one.
Definitely, for sure. Like if you can, the more content you're getting out, the more audiences you're reaching, the bigger reach you're getting. So for me, it definitely varies from delivering as much content as you can or quality. So it comes back to what I said before, is being self-aware on your business or yourself and realizing, you guys have obviously realized that quality is king. And it's working for you. But for me, it's getting content, like it doesn't have to be the best photo, as long as we're getting as much content out as possible. That's what's sort of working for us at the moment.
That's wicked. I appreciate that. Lastly, what would you say the future holds for yourself as a business owner, owning already so many businesses, and what kind of do you have planned for yourself in the future?
I'm sort of just tunnel vision on the businesses that I have. There's no like other businesses that I'm wanting to do. Third Fix collection, they're my two babies at the moment. I'm wanting to expand them, like just make them worldwide kind of thing. I want my fitness bottle to be the #1 shaker within the next year. That's sort of my goal. I think a water bottle is out of reach when you got brands like Swell or Frank Green. I think they've dominated that space. But because mine's multi-purpose, can be used as a water bottle, shaker, smoothie holder, I want to be that bottle, that one bottle that does it all kind of thing. And I don't think there is a product that does that. And I just want to be so sort of well renowned, like, oh, you've got that bottle, or oh, have you seen that bottle around? So in the next year, honestly, worldwide, I want to be that it sort of bottle. That's sort of the goal. There's no sort of like number I want to hit or sort of following I want to hit on the brand or certain sales. it's more about like brand awareness and
Yeah.
like everyone just knowing about it. And yeah, it's sort of just that number one, that shaker bottle. That's sort of my goal.
Love it. I'm sold. I'll be buying one. Love it, man. Thank you so much for today, dude. That was incredible.
Grateful to be here.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool what you're doing. You're inspiring to me, bro. You're giving out really good content. Keep doing what you're doing, and you're definitely going to keep reaping the rewards.
Appreciate you.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video.